I'm Marc Silber. I'm a published photographer in Carmel, California, which is the home of many great photographers like Ansel Adams, Edward Weston, and a lot of other ones who are still around. I'm going to introduce you to our guest today, Peter Hurley. He's the premier headshot and portrait photographer in New York City. Listen to what I just said, the premier. That's saying an awful lot because there's a lot of them in New York City. He's best known, as you can see in these photographs, for his genuine expressions he captures in his portraits and headshots. Peter, thanks for joining us on Advancing Your Photography. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me on, Mark. This is awesome.
What do you feel are the key things that you use every time you approach a shoot?
I believe it's the photographer's responsibility to pull the best out of their subject because you can't rely on them to do it. Nobody knows what their face looks like when they're in front of a camera. They're just guessing.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, and if you don't want to do this, that's fine. But could you do a demo, like a live demo with me? If you were like as though I'm your subject, what would you have me do at this point, for instance?
Sure. I would imagine there's a hook in the top of your head, and it's attached to a ceiling through your hat.
Just
look at the jaw, much better already. Now imagine the camera's in front of you, and I put a string on your nose, and I pulled your nose, made the string shorter, but don't move I put a lasso around your neck. It's attached to the rollie behind you. If that's a rollie.
Whoa.
Is it?
Yeah.
It
is.
But now I want you to be up, but I don't want you to lean forward. I don't want you to lean forward like this.
I see.
Like
just more
the other. And then
good
now
posture,
bring
like my mom
forward
said.
a little bit. I can see you got a little action over here. I don't want to see. Jam that forehead out a little bit further. I want to see your sternocleidomastoids erupt a little bit. Jam your forehead out like this.
Even more.
Yeah, more than that. I need it more.
Okay.
Yeah, go till you should feel awkward and in pain.
I do. Well, I don't feel pain, but I feel awkward for sure.
You need to go to the chiropractor after you shoot with me. That's the drill. So that's the start. And then you look very asymmetrical with your face. Can you bring your nose a little bit toward your left shoulder slightly? Yeah, right there. I like that straight on like that. Yeah, go keep going that way. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, I like that side of your face. Go back the other way. This is good. You're wearing the hat. I'm going to try something with you right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So stop right there. Now come back to center. I like the right side of your, let's see.
This is my right.
We're flipped. Yeah, that's your right. I like your right better. I was just trying to see if we were flipped or we're not flipped. Yeah. I like your right better a little bit. I think it's a little stronger. Straight on's fantastic. Left, you fall off a little bit.
Interesting.
So I'm gonna state there is a hair. I don't know what you got on top of your head, but there is a hair part theory that 90% of the people who part their hair on whatever side they parted on is their good side for 90% of the time.
Really?
So I guess that your hair, if you, I don't know what you got.
I part it this way. So I part it to my right. What little hair I have left to part, it goes this way. So
it goes. Where's the part?
The part's right here. So
okay, so you're parting left. So I may be wrong.
Well, okay. It's parted over. Yeah, it's parted to the left of my skull. Yeah, you're right.
I'm right then, right?
Yeah, I mean that's.
Anyway, so that's
going this way.
This is the first thing I do with people. So I want to figure out the side of their face that is their most attractive side because there's always a sweet spot, and if you don't find it, then you're losing juice in the attractive area. And I think it's a photographer's job to make people look their best. So I'm trying to do that. One of my friends says he has handsome to burn, so I can shoot him on the wrong side and he's all right. But if you don't have handsome to burn, you got to be shot on your sweet spot. You got to. I mean,
handsome to burn. I like that.
Yeah. He's a very attractive gentleman. But also, you have a great smile. You got awesome teeth. I would probably try and get you to crack up a bunch, but you got a good look, and
like
that's so what I would do is I'd run you through the paces like that while giving you these tips and making you understand that like things about your face that you might not have thought of before. And then I'd ascertain your apprehension towards that coaching, whether I need to coach you whether I need to back off and just get the rhythm of the shoot going, or whether I need to go at it a little bit more intensely. If you're getting everything I'm saying, then we're cooking on, cooking with gas, and it just happens all that much faster.
Well, I can tell you this, from the receipt point as a subject, your direction is very strong, so it makes it easy for me to follow you, and also it's taking all my attention off the camera.
Probably the biggest question I get is, how do you relax your subject? And you just said the answer. You make them forget about the camera.
Yeah.
So if they forget about the camera, then they're going to relax, because they don't have any. The only reason they're stressed is because of the camera. The number one thing to get somebody to relax is to not draw attention to the problem. Immediately, photographers say, "Okay, I need you to relax." You just drew attention to the problem.
Right.
And have you had somebody say to you, "Can you relax?" And you go, "Oh, thanks for telling me. I feel so much better now." I mean, that really worked.
Yeah.
It's not good. So
it doesn't work, does it?
No. So you just get them to forget about the camera. And if you have a skill set that keeps them busy, if you notice I talk really fast, I mean, that's part of my thing too, is I rapid fire them so they don't have time to think. But every photographer is different. I don't tell photographers to change their style or their personality or their demeanor. I tell them, that they have to work with what they've got is built in. And the reason why somebody's pictures are going to be different than somebody else's is personality driven with humans, because there's an energy between us and the camera that transpires, and it's different when you're a different human behind the camera. It's just the way it works. I see it all the time because I set up these shoots for people. We even have the same person in front of the camera, and I have different photographers shoot them, and you see the change in them when the new photographer steps in, and the subject feels it. And if it is confidence, it relaxes them on it without you doing anything. So it's really something you have to work on.
Well, listen, why don't we dive into some of your photographs? I'm really curious, and you can tell us the story behind them, and I might ask you some questions too. So what's the story here?
I love this shot. He's an architect in Mexico. He does amazing work. Bernardo Pozas. If you look on Instagram, you can see some of the stuff. And one of my friends shoots a lot of his houses and stuff, and they're modern and beautiful and just insane. Like, if I was going to have somebody build me a house, it'd be this guy. I just put him in. I loved his look, and I just shot it. I was like, this is amazing. And this was like at the end of the day. I think I was doing normal headshots and stuff the way I normally do it. And then I just put this table down. He leaned in, and I got it. And I've been shooting a setup similar to this with a lot of people, because I just like everything very square and straight down the pike. I normally don't like people touching their face with their hands, but if they're on a table with their elbows down and they're leaning forward, it's a normal place for the hands to be. So I'll just say, run through I won't try and tell them where to put the hand. I just tell them, just mess with your hand, like down, up, whatever, do a bunch of things. And I'll shoot a variety, and I just thought he looked really comfortable there, and I love the glasses, and I love this shot.
Yeah, and so interesting. Do you find the table helps put them at ease, because then they don't have to worry about their lower body and then kind of lean into it like he is? Is that definitely a helpful prop? Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I got this. This was shot. I got a call from a client of mine who's like my best client. They've been my client the longest. They've given me all the best jobs that I've done. It's called the Vilcek Foundation here in New York City, and they honor immigrants for their accomplishments. And Baryshnikov has, obviously done a lot in his life. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so they said, look, he's winning an award. We want you to go photograph him. But first, the head of the foundation is a friend of mine, the president, and he said, I don't want you to get too excited, but I might be able to get you to photograph Baryshnikov. I was like, oh my gosh. So a couple of weeks go by, and I was like, oh, that's not happening. And then he called me. He's like, yeah, we're going to do it. I was like, wow. So I had to go over the Baryshnikov Art Center. I met his assistant. I was walking around, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is great that you're shooting. He hasn't had any publicity photos in a really long time, and the last person to shoot him was Annie Leibovitz. I was like, oh, great.
I've seen those. Yeah. Nice to be going up against Annie, right?
Oh, I was like, wonderful. Oh, this is great. Yeah, I was completely, and I wasn't, I have some video that day, and I wasn't the guy, I think we all grow over the course of our careers for various reasons. Obviously, we want growth, and we're trying to grow. The one thing that I said to him, so we're in New York, the Empire State Building was behind him and to his right, and I said, tilt your head towards the Empire State Building. And he looked at me like I was nuts. And it's outside my window right now. Like, I'm looking at it right now. I can see it.
Okay.
And I say tilt your head towards the Empire State Building all the time, no matter where I am on planet Earth. Why? Because I found that humans, like, they think I'm serious, and they want to be right, and that is more important than them worrying about the camera. So again, it's just getting them to forget about the camera.
Yeah.
So he moved, and I was like, okay, don't worry about that. It's outside my window at my studio. I say that all the time, and I just kind of brushed it off. Well, 10 minutes go by, and I was up on a balcony that he had me shooting down into the bigger space. He said, stay right there. And I was like, okay. He's like, I'm going to let you in that office up there. I'll be right up there. I was like, okay. So he came up and he opened the door. He said, come here. And I was like, what? And he said, here, look at this. And he pulls out this book, and it's a book of dancers and dance shots. And I'm looking at them, and they're beautiful. And they're like slow shutter and just gorgeous colors and everything. And he goes, here, look at this one. And he hands me another one. And I was like, what are these? These are great. This is amazing. He goes, this is my photography. And he hands me another book.
What?
And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, I shoot the dance. I was like, no way. And they were like, it wasn't like he picked up a camera and was fooling around. It was gorgeous. And I was like, so
amazing.
He spent at least 10 minutes or more talking through the books, which he gave me, which was really sweet. I wish I had him sign them. I forgot to do that. But after about 10 minutes of looking through the books, I was like, you like gave me like no time out there to shoot you, because now I was like comfortable. I was like, this is awesome. You gave me barely any time with you out there. And he's like, you did great. Stop it. You were fine. I was like, oh my gosh. But the kicker was that a couple weeks later, I sent the pictures, and his assistant called and said, hey, he really likes the pictures. He wants to know if it's okay if he replaces all of his stuff online with your shots. And I was like, shebang.
Nice. Shebang. Okay, Sophia. Who isn't in love with Sophia? She is just really something. And I haven't seen this portrait before. It's really amazing. What's the story here?
I printed that one for a reason. So I booked her to shoot the cover of a magazine, and it was... I mean, she was on fire at the time. It was about her having a monopoly over the Latin market, or her market. At the time, it was like she was having a monopoly. So that we did this, I don't think the shot's on my website, but we did this monopoly board, and we blew money into the air, and she was like dice, like she was playing Monopoly. It was cool.
I think we have it right here. Right? Is this it?
Yeah, that was the cover shot. Yeah, that's the cover shot. I knew Sophia had been photographed a gazillion times, and was probably amazing in front of the camera. But I teach photographers to shut up when somebody's amazing in front of the camera and just let them do their thing, because you're going to chase them. They're running and they're just doing it. I mean, she got in front of the camera, she lit up, and I was just pressing the button. And I was just like, every shot was phenomenal. She's just an amazing talent, and she gave energy to the camera like you wouldn't believe. And then at the end, I was like, well, I got to direct her a little bit. So I said, hey, punch the camera with some vigor or something. I don't know what I said. And I got that shot.
I love that shot.
Put that on the wall in my studio. And I love it because she just had so much energy, and she turned it on. It was really nice. But I have never had someone like that knows so much about their what they have to give to a camera. She was one of the best I've ever photographed.
Peter, this has been fantastic. We're going to have you back on again. I'm going to talk you into it, because we haven't even scraped the surface. I can see that. And would you like to leave these guys with any final tip or advice in terms of upping their game in portraiture or headshots?
First of all, there's two things I say all the time. One is set a goal, and if your goal is to be a better portrait photographer, it better light a fire under your butt. And if it does, then you'll be willing to go out and do what you need to do to become successful, which is you have to photograph a lot of faces, because you have to start down this path of what is it that I do when people get in front of my camera that's different than the next guy, and how am I going to make that person comfortable and get what I want out of them, because that's really what brings it all together. I can teach you how to light it. I can teach you how to, the camera height, the crop, the composition, what to do with it once you export it and bring it out and make it look decent. But I can't jump in your body and take the picture for you and give you your direction. I can only guide you towards what's going to be your way of directing.
I love it. You got to have a fire under your butt, and that goes for any type of photography. Really, I mean, you got to be motivated and get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Well, Peter, I know you got a lot to do, so I'm going to let you go, even though I could keep you here all day. And thank you again for your generosity, your energy, sharing everything. It's just brilliant. We'll make sure we got links for everybody to keep following you and catch up with you and stay connected.
I'm so glad you had me on. This is awesome.
I am too. Believe me, we're going to do some more of this.
For sure.
Take care. I'm going to let you loose and get those audiobooks done and let me know when you got them.
I will. All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
Take
Mark.
care. Remember, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you are subscribed to this channel and you enable the bell, because you don't want to miss any of these shows. You wouldn't want to miss this. This is really important stuff. Share the video. It's up to you guys to help, stoke the fire here. And the way you stoke the fire is use your fingers, tell your friends about the show, tell them about AYP. Get out there and do that part of it, because that's really, really important to share what you're learning. And last but not least, remember to get out and capture your own images of life. Love you guys. Stay well, stay safe, but keep learning and getting inspired, and we'll see you again really soon.